It is March 12th, 2018. We're here at 2510 Bancroft Drive in Spring Valley, California. We're going to inspect the main sewer line. We're here at the property on the rooftop. We did not see a clean out at ground level for the main sewer line. We did see one for the kitchen, and we will go through that after this. So this is the original 3-inch cast iron vent. This vertical pipe will lead directly into the very beginning of the main sewer for the system. So we're going to go down this vertical pipe. Build up there. Okay, here's right here where the toilet empties into. We did flush it upon arriving a few minutes ago because the unit is vacant, so we wanted to put some water into the system to make sure that it's draining and that there's not any sags or bellies to the pipe that will hold water. So that's where the toilet empties into. So this is the beginning of the sewer line. Camera kind of a little flip-flopped on itself there. Okay, here we go. So, see there's a little bit of standing water in the bottom of the cast iron pipe. That'll sometimes happen when there's some heavy buildup on the line or at a junction where two fittings come together. So, we'll push through this right here. As you can see, there's a little bit of hair hanging down from the sink and tub drain where they empty into the system. So you can see the little mounds of debris there on the left. So we've got some scale and deposits on the line, and that's what dams up and holds up the water. So we're going to push forward here and see how long this continues. We typically don't like to see it for this long. Okay, there's a big buildup right there in the line. So you can see we've got big heavy mounds of buildup, and then I don't know if that's something that was flushed down the line. It does appear to be. So it looks like somebody probably flushed that down the pipe. So there we go. Just push through that. Now we can see right here, it appears we have an original clean out. So we're going to try to get by that and get a little bit of a closer view if we can. We're going to see we've got a turn on the system. Just trying to get our lens cleaned up. So right outside the foundation wall of the house, that little bit of debris, there we go, right there. This is a T-junction, that vertical, and we can see that is an original two-way clean out, which we don't use anymore, and there's going to be a brass original cap to that for access into the main sewer. So we'll come back and locate that, but we're going to now continue to push forward here on the line. Here we have a turn on the line, and it looks like they used a T-junction to create that turn on the line. So still we've got a little bit of water hanging out on the bottom of this pipe. Again, nothing you really want to see because obviously the downhill slope of the pipe is supposed to be a 1/4 inch of fall for every foot it travels. So things are supposed to be all washed out. You don't want that because obviously when you see standing water that could cause other debris to build or back up and lead to a stoppage. It also will expedite the process of the metal cast iron pipe eventually corroding out. If there's always water hanging out on the bottom of it, it'll eventually rust and get eaten out a little bit faster. Right now the cast iron pipe here, again, very little minimal deposits here overall. So right here it's looking good. And that initial area back after the toilet entry point, they had some heavy buildup. A little bit of buildup right there you can see on the line. It's a little chunk of debris it looks like. There we go, get past that. So little spots here and there, but nothing with a really big alarm going off saying this is going to need repair or any kind of maintenance on it. Just typical older cast iron pipe. So you can see that the bottom looks a little bit more flat, so that's the buildup that's occurring on the line, whereas the top and sidewalls have that nice curvature to the pipe still, of course. And that's just what happens with cast iron with age. So you can see some little mounds of buildup there, and there's our little pocket and pools of water again. We're probably going to get this throughout the system here. We don't have anybody living here, so don't really know if you're going to get a lot of paper and feces building up on these little pockets that don't flow out real well. But that's why we'll locate that clean out. And we're definitely going to recommend that you have that clean out accessed and brought to surface, so that if the line does require any maintenance or cleaning, that you've got an access point rather than going up on the rooftop or pulling the toilet. So sometimes some of these mounds can be hydrojetted out when there's a clean out at the end of the line. They can kind of scrape it, but you do have to be careful with the PSI that's used with older pipes that you don't further damage it or cause any issues. So at this point, I'm not recommending hydrojetting unless we find something else a lot more severe coming up. But that is just one option as time goes by. It looks like that's the original cast iron property line clean out, possibly right there in the top of the screen. And then we have a transition coming up where there may have been another clean out or just a transition. So that's definitely the original property line clean out right there. Let's see what we've got here. Looks like we're going into clay pipe right after that. So at the end of the cast iron, again, right there, you can see the curve on the pipe on the top of the screen. That's another access point. We'll locate that. Now we're in 4-inch clay pipe. Here's actually a clean out on the clay as well. We don't see that too often. Let's push farther down the line here. Okay, so it looks like we've got a root intrusion here in the clay pipe. So you can see we're going to back up right here. So this is a roots intruding at the hub of the clay pipe. We'll locate that on the property. So this would be another reason why one or two of those clean outs need to be accessed to be able to treat and maintain this pipe. We're going to continue down, then we'll come back and locate all that. That hub looks clean. Little water bug there. Okay, here's our next hub, and we have roots intruding here. And this is right before a turn on the line. So we're coming up here, and then right after this, you can see some roots actually at the next hub, which is a turn. So we jump over that, and we can see the roots kind of hanging down from there. We have to make that turn so we kind of lose the view with the camera. And that's our drop into the city, it appears. So we'll see if we can just push across this. We're not going to see them. There we go. There's our drop now into the big city line. So we're from the vent pipe, we're just at almost literally 100 feet out. So we're now going to go ahead and pull back on the line. Okay, so there's that turn. And we had some roots right at that little hub, and then we have some roots at that hub right there at that turn. So there's the other roots that are intruding. Wash our camera lens off so we can get a better view. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just mark where this is at on the property. We're going to pause the video. Okay, we've gone ahead and located this root intrusion on the line. Sorry, our camera's got a little glitch there with the monitor connection there for a second. So this root intrusion, which is right before it dumps into the city, is approximately a little over 6 feet deep, right in the middle of the street. We did mark it with a green circle and an X, denoting where it's at. Just again, That helps out any plumber if they're going to snake or hydrojet it, so they know where they've got to go distance-wise besides utilizing their camera when they do snake or clean them out. We're now going to go ahead and pull back on the line. This clay pipe again is all good until we get to here. Here we have this root intrusion. So we're now going to go ahead and pause the video and locate this. Okay, this intrusion is still in the street, little under 6 feet deep. We've marked it with an additional circle and a green X. It's about 6 feet back towards the house from the first one, so a little bit past the middle of the street, headed back towards the home. Now coming back through the rest of this clay. Looks like that's just a little piece of the rubber boot, not a root there. That joint is clean. That joint is clean. Okay, here's our clay clean out. And then here is, as we back up just a little bit more, our cast iron clean out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and first locate the cast iron one, because it's possible the clay one is going to be under the street or the asphalt still, small walkway after the fence line and not a diggable area. So we're going to go ahead and just move a little bit forward, so right about there approximately. So we're going to go ahead and pause and locate this cast iron property line clean out. Okay, so we've located this buried property line clean out, and this is right literally on the white picket fence line, and maybe just a little bit just after. The pipe is just under 4 feet deep, and so there's definitely no clean outs at the ground level that were ever brought to surface, which is normal. And then the clay clean out that's right after here by a few feet also is not been brought to surface, and this is definitely under the asphalt of the side little walkway and into the road, so not really a diggable area for either clean out, because we've got the fence and we've got a bunch of trees right next to the fence line where the cast iron clean out is right here. So we're now going to pull back on the line, and we're going to come all the way back to the other clean out that is going to be a lot shallower and close to the foundation wall of the house. We're going to see if that's in a diggable area. If it's not, then we'll locate just beyond it to where we get to an easy dirt area where a clean out could be installed. So coming back on the line here, a little bit of debris in our face of our camera there, but let's see if we'll wash it off there. Some of that water. So again, these little pockets and pools are due to the scale and buildup of deposits on the line. A little bit of debris in our camera lens there again. Just going to pull back kind of fast here as we've already viewed this. We just want to get back to the other clean out, but we just want to keep showing this. There was that little chunk of debris we ran by earlier. Probably a little piece of construction debris or something that or somebody flushed something down a toilet. Okay. Little danglies there, but not roots. Okay. Alright, here's our little turn on the system. And as we back up here, so here's the clean out. Kind of see that circular lid with the pipe going up. So right now I'm guessing that this sewer line actually leaves the side of the house and then makes this left turn to head parallel to this little crossroad to get out to Bancroft. So that's why we've got a turn on the line. It doesn't go straight through the bedrooms. That's why it comes up to that turn. So We're going to go ahead and locate where this is at right here on the property and see if that's a diggable area and how deep it is. Move our camera just to underneath it. I'm going to pause the video. Okay, so we've gone ahead and located it, and this is on the side of the house. So the sewer line leaves the bathroom, not to the front yard, but to the side, and then it makes that turn. So this clean out, the bottom of the pipe is basically 2 feet deep, so it's going to be a little less than 24 inches to dig down to that clean out cap, which will need to be ground off, cut off, and then extended up vertically for an access point. This is under the little rock pebble pathway on the side of the house, so it is a diggable area. This spot right here underneath the clean out is about 42 inches away from the edge of the building. We have it marked on the pathway with a little flag, a little metal stake going into the ground with a green flag denoting clean out at 24 inches deep. And then again, from right where we're at there, we only have to travel approximately about another 1.5 feet to, not even a foot, maybe just a little over a foot before we hit the elbow here, which is the turn or transition to then head along the fence line to go towards Bancroft. So we've got this all marked out and located. We're going to go ahead now and pause the video and move another camera over into the kitchen and laundry line to see if we can make it through that. So we're going to leave this other camera and push rod in the system to see where it empties into. And we're going to move our monitor down. Okay, so now we've got a very small camera, a little less than 3/4 of an inch in diameter to go through the kitchen line. The other camera was a 1-inch self-leveling, but typically a kitchen's going to have a lot of buildup and debris, so we don't even want to try to put a bigger camera in there. We're also worried about it clogging up the line more than it could be already. So here, the original cast iron clean out that was stubbed out was just extended up a little bit with an ABS pipe and some bond adhesive. And that's fine, at least there's an access point. So right there's the junction where the vertical pipe coming down the wall dumps into the line. And then here we're going down just a little bit, and then it's transitioning to the horizontal line. So you can see there's a lot of dried up, little flaked up food and debris in the line, but it's actually pretty clear overall right here. So we're going to keep pushing down this line. Oops, let's see this again. There's a lot of dried up little debris, and that's going to keep happening. We are pushing down the line right now. We're just kind of losing the view. There we go. So we've got a little bit of staining water in the line that kind of cleared out our camera lens there. So the line is still open. We just had some debris on the camera face. Just making sure that this line is intact and connected well. Okay, here you can see. So this is what we were talking about. There's just a lot of buildup in the line. So this line's probably going to need to be snaked and cleaned out, prior to move-in. We are going to go ahead and try to push the camera through this. If it holds up at all, we're not going to try anymore. And again, we can see the line is mostly clogged here. Now this is already also past where the laundry connects into the system. So we're going to push through that. We did get through it with our little small camera here. But you can see right here we're kind of bottomed out into some part of the system here. We can't continue beyond that. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a little bit of water and see if it completely backs up. This line is going to need to be snaked and cleaned out. I would recommend doing this prior to purchase in case there is any major problems with this 2-inch cast line, because this is all under the slab of the house. And that would mean they have to be jackhammered and dug up or somehow rerouted across the entire outdoor area back to the main. So normally they can of course just be snaked and cleaned out, but just worst case scenario if it was really bad. So we're going to go ahead and again pause and run some water through the line. Okay, so we're going to back up here a little bit. We have water running right now through the system. And now again, the laundry empties a huge volume all at once, and so that's why it's important to go ahead and get this line cleaned out again before moving. One, we already can see that it's all backed up with heavy debris, but two, there's no way for that laundry to be able to drain down and out there. We still don't have water coming by the piece yet, which is a little odd since Seems like we've got water running for quite a few minutes here already. Oh, here we go. There's the water running through the system now. Now we can see it flowing on the bottom. There we go. Now sometimes the liquid will make it through, but again, this camera, which is actually only 0.61 inches in diameter, it's a rigid nano reel, one of the smallest cameras on the market, couldn't get by that heavy debris. The water might sneak by through there. So again, yeah, there's our end of our piece. Now the water's making it through, so that's an important good thing so far. The water's not backing up and filling up the system. It is making it by that really rough spot that the camera can't get by. And so besides that buildup, it could also be the end of the line where it turns and is about to dump into the main. And so you'll get more buildup and scale at that end piece. So again, this needs to be snaked, not really jetted out, probably just snaking is good enough. But that's going to need to be done prior to moving. Otherwise, that laundry, you're definitely going to get suds or water backing up out of the standpipe in the garage when that gets tried to be run. So what we'll do is we'll leave this water running for a minute. We'll leave our camera in here to the end of where we could get. We're going to go ahead and take another small nano camera and put it up through the laundry vent. I don't believe there was a clean out, just a standpipe in the garage. So we'll go up to the vent for the laundry and see if we can see where this dumps and ties into the kitchen. So we're going to pause the video. Okay, we're now on the rooftop. So that little vertical pipe there at the end of the roof line, that's the kitchen vent. And as we scan over and across, there's our skylight. And this is the laundry vent. So we're going to go down this little laundry vent. Debris in the line there. There's cast iron. So you can see we've got some water there in the line. Ooh, there's a little chunk of debris right there. So got that water moving through the system. See, 1 second, we're going to pause a second, see if the line's backing up. Okay, we just looked across and the line is not backing up out of the clean out yet. But again, as you can see here, the laundry line, which is connected into the kitchen, and it's got some debris in there. I don't know what that is. That is a hard rock or a big flake of some debris. We know that the laundry line was connected in the wall with a new ABS standpipe and trap that's buried behind the drywall because we can see it stubbed out and new. There's a possibility when they cut into the line, a big chunk of debris fell down the system. You can see this is all backed up water here on the line. It is kind of draining out, but it's being held up a little bit there. So as we go forward here again, I don't know what that little piece of debris is. There we go, just work by there, but that's going to have to be removed from the line. We're going to go ahead and turn on our locator and try to see if we can pinpoint where this is at. Okay, so you can see we've shut the water off, so now we have no water filling up on the line. Everything's kind of draining out. You can see the liquid on the bottom there. There's some little bugs and stuff in there. So this spot right here with that chunk of rock or construction debris, that is about 14 to 16 inches deep, and it's right at the beginning of the kitchen. So the laundry is obviously back to back with the kitchen, and right behind the laundry is the fridge and a little cabinet. The line comes out kind of in between there and runs across, and then it's going to tee in junction into the actual kitchen line, and then they become one pipe and run out. So we've got this marked with the little red disc inside the house, so we're going to move our camera down inside the house to show that. So again, this is a real problem because, you know, whatever that object is lodged in there pretty good, and I don't know if that can be physically retrieved with any type of specialty bit on the end of a cable, but it would have to be attempted because the only other option, of course, is to dig up the line. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video and move our camera down to show the marking inside the house. Actually, before we go down there, we do actually want to show the camera coming back in complete reverse on this line now that the water's drained out. So as we come back across this cast iron pipe, see there's a little heavy buildup right here at that cast iron hub connection, whatever that is. And then we come across, and there we go. There's our turn right there. Now we're coming up vertically up the line. And let's see, that's our T-junction right there. So right here in the wall is the original T-junction. So when they put the new recessed box inside the wall, they didn't change out the cast iron T itself. They just changed out the trap arm and probably the trap and standpipe. But this is all still cast iron. That's the T-junction right there that leads to the trap and then eventually the standpipe. So now we're in the dry vent, coming all the way back up the vent pipe here to the rooftop. And now we're back out. So we're going to pause the video and move to the kitchen. Okay, so we're just carrying our camera, kind of like a video recorder. So we're now in the garage, and here on this wall, here's the laundry. So here are the hot and cold, and again, here's a new ABS black plastic standpipe. There's no clean out on the wall anywhere, so that's why we went through the roof vent. But this is supposed to also be a 2-inch pipe. It's required by code for the standpipe and the trap to be 2-inch. So that's not the code as well. We're going to shut the garage door. Now we'll go into the kitchen here. So as we put this camera down through the line, as we come into the kitchen, this little red disc you see, triangular disc on the ground, that is the pathway coming from the garage of the laundry line, and that red spot denotes as far as we could get our camera, which is where that big rock or that big chunk of debris was stuck in the pipe and blocking the system. So you can see that's the fridge. So again, that's the common wall from the kitchen sharing to the garage. The line runs under that little cabinetry, hits that red disc, and then you can see here's the kitchen sink. So the kitchen sink drain line is going to come across, and then they're going to tie in probably pretty close to where my foot is right there. And then it would then head over across and then go towards the bathroom where it connect into the main. So again, about 14 to 16 inches deep is where the pipe is right there, and that's where that object is. So unfortunately, if that can't be cleaned and removed out via any type of specialty cables and tools, then it's going to have to be dug up to get that line back in a working functional order. So that concludes this recording.